We are live at the 7:30 a.m. hour with your host, Hunter McIntyre, and our special guest host today, Megan Jacoby, who just recently hit the HYROX world record for women's pro at an ultimate time of 58 minutes. How we doing today, boys and girls?
What was the official time?
It was 58 and some
numerical symmetry, 58-58.
Does that mean something special?
No, I just thought it was cool that it was symmetrical.
Are you one of those girls who has crystals in her room?
No.
Is there some astrology lined up with this
No.
thing?
No, the only thing I know about my astrology is that I'm a Gemini. I don't know what that means, but
Means you're crazy.
That's about my knowledge. I looked it up.
I don't know.
My friend gave me this thing as a gift, and this is called a fortune teller fish. And if you put this in your hand and you put it in your hand based on the way that the fish moves, I either have either jealous, there's indifference in me, I'm in love, fickle, false, I'm dead if it's emotionless, or passionate. And I was mixed between in love and passionate. It's difficult though. This fish is kind of a dick. You can't really tell what it's up to. Yep. But feeling pretty good about it. You know, I'm really working on all these kind of woo-woo kind of things as you're getting closer to championships. You're looking for signs.
Are you?
You're gonna go through TSA security with, sir. What fish? No, it's my fish. I gotta have my fish.
Yeah. So tell everybody, where are you in the world right now? I honestly, my first question I have listed out here is, who are you? I don't think anybody.
I'm a lady.
Really, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think anybody really knows who you are. You came on the scene 6 months ago, and you just kind of put the Baltimore beat down on people who've been in this game for a long time.
Yo, that's what we do.
I'm sure there's some girls right now that just have boxes of tissues next to their bed, crying every single night, saying, "This Megan girl."
I've done this for 3 years, and this Megan girl just shows up this year and just crushes me.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So I'm from upstate New York, and yeah, I don't know. I kind of lived under a rock and didn't really know about any of this stuff. So once I kind of learned about it, I was like, this is definitely my jam.
Do you own an iPhone or like a laptop or any of this kind of stuff?
Yes.
She doesn't.
I'm just double checking. So one of my other questions is, like, how did you, with your, I Googled you. And I was only able to find very, very few pictures and articles on you. And one of them is from when you were doing track. And I'm assuming you used to have curly hair, because there's a picture of you. This is like really curly.
Yeah. No, I do. But yeah,
is there a dog being held hostage?
Yes, it is a small attack dog and very protective of the yard. So it's probably the mailman who she sees every day and like loathes with everything she has. So
I get it. I still get upset when the trash guy comes here.
Yeah, no, I've been training like this kind of style for a long time. I don't know. Like I'm work full time. I'm a mom, and I just kind of didn't really know there was like competitions for it. So
I'm just so amazed with your running talent that you weren't like drawn into doing things like Spartan races, Tough Mudders, all these Decafits. I mean, this stuff has been going on for a long time, and it's such an easy transition for somebody of your talents to be brought in. I mean, I'm sure.
So OCR, I've been well aware of. I'm buddies with Jarrett Newby. He owns an OCR facility. I just hate it. Like I don't like obstacles at all.
You don't like obstacles? You don't like the sport? You just like
I don't like obstacles that much. I'm not bad at them. I go up there every now and again, and just muscularly can like muscle my way through a lot of things, but I just don't. To me, it's like this thing is in my way of running fast. Like that's just kind of how I've always looked at it. And I did a lot of road racing in like my late 20s, so I was kind of more into that scene for a while. But
was there all the embarrassment factor? Like you'd have to come home and then explain to people where you've been, and you're like, I can't tell people that I spent my hard-earned money on going to a mud run.
I don't think it's that so much. I like
It was.
trail
It
running.
was for me.
Oh, it was for you. Yeah.
I used to sit down on planes next to people coming back and forth these races. They're like, "Hey there, young lad. Like, where are you coming
Young
from?"
lad.
And I was like, I
This
just
was
ran
back
a
in Morrow
race." And they're
years.
like, "What
Yeah.
kind of race?" I was like, "It's a pretty big deal. It's a Spartan race." They're like, "Oh, my niece did one of those." I'm like, "Is your niece just fucking jacked though?
Yeah.
Is your niece the mud run champ? Like, take it easy, pal." But it was tough for a long time. I had at least an ego trip over the whole thing because I was like, "Gosh, I'm going to spend at least 10 years of my life dedicating it to something that nobody understands fully."
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like that even with like trying to explain hybrid, like trying to explain what HYROX is. Everyone's just like, it's like, oh, so it's CrossFit. I'm like, no, it's not, but sure.
I lie the whole time.
I got to figure out, you're going to have to tell me what you say because I need a better
What's the
response.
elevator pitch to
Well,
explain to somebody on an airplane right next to you?
Let me stop something right here. This is going to insult a lot of people, but people's feelings are not meant to be there to be always be upheld. Sometimes they need to be hurt so you guys can have a reaffirming understanding of the way the world works. Germans are not known for being creative. Like Italians are known for their fantastic food. Germans are known for being fantastic engineers. Americans are known for entertainment and being geniuses. So when I got into the sport of HYROX, I first come into this thing and I was like, "So what is this?" And they can't fucking explain it. They're like, "You go in the circles and you shall do this," and it is incredible. And I was like, "Well, that was a fucking dead end sentence."
That was
So
the best German accent.
He's been
Yeah.
practicing a lot.
That was very good.
I coined the term fitness racing. So it's the idea of we're using the vessel of running and fitness as basically our tests. And this is my next lie. I say basically what the founders of this company did is they took all Olympic and world championship level sports and they put them in succession, almost like a decathlon, to find who was the fittest person. So Nordic skiing is skier, sled push is bobsled, sled pull is strongman, so on and so forth, where you're testing all of these things you'd find across Olympic and world championship level sports, but who's truly the fittest across all bounds. Now, the Germans couldn't figure that out. They would, them in this gigantic office they have with they are a marketing company, which blows my mind, and they still can't even fucking come up with an elevator pitch for their business. So that's what I tell people. It is currently the modern day version of the decathlon with fitness. And if you can just get that down, polish it, have a couple beers so that you don't slur when you say it the first time. You got to get loose with it. Be a little bit flowy with your shoulders. And then if you can do that, people are like, wow, by the end of the conversation, like, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was funny because when I was flying home from Anaheim, like I had a hoodie on. Mistake number one is wearing anything that says it on it.
Yep.
Because then people are like, oh, like, what's that? And they want to talk. And like, I'm on an airplane and I don't want to talk. I just want to like put my headphones in and watch this movie. But it's very, I don't know. I'm not good at explaining it. So I'll have to go with your route.
The best thing you can do is walk on a plane with a huge cardboard check for $100.
For $100?
That's what I got in Barcelona for setting the world record.
Are you serious?
Yeah, let me tell you, dude, that's a bragger.
You know, to
It
be
costs
fair
me
though,
more
I got
money.
$0 when I set mine in Cali. So
Hold on, let me tell you something. It wasn't even $100. It was a $100 gift card. So I could go back into the stadium and buy whatever shit that they're fucking panhandling towards me.
Well, thank God they gave you that. I know you really needed it. So
Yeah, I did. I did badly. I need another HYROX sweater.
Yeah.
So
Megan, is your nickname in the HYROX world Megatron? Like Hunter's is the sheriff's in town, and then
It seems like that started. I have not named. I have not
coined
named
it yet?
myself. No,
Okay.
but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Or just like the Meg, right? Like
Yeah.
Megalodon.
I watched that movie the other day. Top 5 best movies.
Nice.
I see
See?
it just popped up on Amazon for me.
Let's see here. I got to read my notes real quick. So tell us, like, I think a lot of people would just be interested because you are a savage. Like, I watched one of the first things I ever saw of you. Someone sent me a video. They're like, look at this chick. And you benched, I think, 205 in the video.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's girls out there that bench 205. But just to give people some context,
Not running as fast as I do, though.
No, it's okay. So that's what I'm saying. We want to
Yeah.
really get both sides of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
Now, 205 at like what? You're like a $135, $140.
Yep.
Pretty fucking rad.
Mm-hmm.
So you're above double body weight.
Yeah.
which is nuts. I don't have that kind of lift. What about, give me some other lifts here. What's a squat for you?
Probably like 280, 290. I did 280
Wow.
in powerlifting comp. So like an official 280 I've hit.
So double body weight. You got double body
yeah.
weight there. What about deadlift?
So 345, which is like
Soft.
yeah,
Soft.
exactly.
Sorry.
Shit,
No,
I thought last
exactly.
summer I was going
Yeah,
big
come
with
on.
315.
Dude, you're gonna get mashed up by my boy right here, dude. Don't show up to a powerlifting meet against him.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think just with like so much years of distance running, that was probably my weaker area, was like hamstring strength. So that was something I really have to focus on pretty heavily. So
I don't squat. I refuse to bend the knee. I really just fucking hate squatting.
I love it a lot, but I totally get what you're saying with it.
I've shifted my spine way too many times to
Yeah.
actually enjoy the process of it. Now, so okay, we got some numbers here. We got 280 squats, 340 dead.
Yep.
340 dead, and we got 200 on the bench. Pretty solid. Now let's get some running in here, because all of those numbers are very respectable, but this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Give me a 5K, because that's what most people would understand.
5K PR is 1642.
Savage.
Wow.
I just did a time trial 3 weeks ago, solo on a track, and I ran 1720.
Now you'd beat the majority of men. You probably beat the last 5 guys in the Elite 15 with that score.
Yeah. I mean, I was stoked because I was like, when I did the 1640 time, I was pure running at that point. Like I was strength training very minimally, just to like stay healthy. So then a few weeks ago, to pull a 17 low completely by myself, I was pretty pumped about that, because I feel like in a race setting with people, I could probably pull off a 17 flat. So to know that my 5K speed is there with pretty similar strength numbers and like doing all the HYROX stuff, I'm very happy about that. So
okay, what about a mile time? Are you a good with a mile?
Well, I did your battle bunker mile, and honestly, pretty shitty. I did the 5K.
Let's get some honesty here.
No, it was really bad. So I did 525.
You beat Kyle.
Right?
Oh, dude, I'm texting Kyle right now.
And then literally the same day, so I did your battle bunker mile, 525. Same day, I ran that 5K time trial. Like I waited like 3 hours, ran the 5K time trial, and did the 1720. My first mile of the 5K was 527. So I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, I just can't. I'm just chilling in that 520 zone. But I bet you I would be pulling a low 5 minute on a mile on a good day.
Dude, when we did OCR Stars, which is an event that I hosted online a couple years ago, there's this chick named Becca Hammond, and she ran like a 458, I think.
Nice.
And she would be a person that if she had stuck it out in HYROX, she would be the person you'd be really fighting against. She is a fucking freak. You look at her too, she's like a gazelle with an extra couple pounds of muscles on her. Like she's very long and lean, but then she has muscle bodies on her that you could tell she's strong too. That girl was dangerous.
I think that's kind of like how you have to be in HYROX on the women's side, it seems like, to be like really, really excelling. It seems like that's kind of the style. I don't want to be like weird and talk about body types too much, but I don't know. I feel like that's kind of how I am. So it seems to be
scientific with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, listen, at this point, people would be stupid to get so sensitive about identifying body types in a thing like sport, because it's so subjective.
It's whatever gets you to the finish line fast enough. If you have this body type that gets you the finish line, then that's what it is.
There's a reason why a shot putter and a javelin guy looks totally different. A shot putter is a fucking thick ass brick, and don't get upset. Like, you decided to pick the sport of shot put. You have that body. Don't be a bitch about it. A javelin guy, same exact thing. Very different. Look at the difference between like a long jumper and a shot putter. Like, all these things. And you're going to start to see this alignment in the sport of HYROX, where it's very common that if you go to the Elite 15, that like 14 of the Elite 15 males, I'm not like studying them females as much, but are over 6 feet tall. Like
Yeah.
it's very easy to witness. I think just because most commonly, as I've witnessed in the sports that I've competed in for the past decade, the female side always a little bit slower to kind of fill in. And you're gonna like this year was a fucking gigantic leap in our sport where you started to see way more competitive girls come in. You came in, Michaela came in, and it brought like a whole nother level of energy. Like I don't even know if the world champion from last year is going to qualify. Is she still in, Chris?
Yes, I believe so. One more person I think snuck in from Hanover this past weekend though.
You've
Female.
no
So I'm
clue
not
what's
sure
going to
who
happen in
she
Hong
bumped
Kong,
out.
though.
Huh?
You've no clue what's going to happen in Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Bunch
That's a
of
good point. I
fucking
forgot about Hong Kong.
monsters over there. But yeah, I think for at least for the girl side, oof, it's tough to say because you guys are so different, you and Michaela. I don't know who is the better type. I think being long and powerful is so helpful for things like ski erg, row, even that long sled pull, having like the stride on things like lunges and farmer carries. It's helpful, but you're obviously packing on a lot more muscle per inch than she is. What is she like 4 inches taller than you, 5 inches taller than you?
I'm 5'7". She's probably like 5'11". So yeah.
Could you beat her in an arm wrestling match?
Hell yeah. No
That's the most
question.
important thing possible.
Chris Rogalski, is that how you say your name? Is ranked
Rogalski.
14th out of 15th this year.
See? Ooh, Hong Kong's going to be tight.
105.33 was her qualifying time.
Yeah, so I'll be real. Like Tom, my partner, just got bumped out, and Tom's like, I don't know if I'm going to go. And I was like, Tom, if you're really going to retire, what he's thinking about doing, I was like, you really going to let the reason be that you didn't show up make the Elite 15 be a long flight to Hong Kong? Like you'll be sitting on your deathbed 60 years from now and be like, I'm a total bitch. So I'm assuming that a lot of people that are on the cusp are going to fly into Hong Kong.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in Europe, it's probably like if you're in America, that'd be brutal. That trip.
Tom's flight's 14 hours.
Oh, that's about the same for the US, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
He's bumped out by 10 seconds. Tom's time putting him at 16th place is 58.47, and Bo Willis is 58.37.
Dude, it's tight. It's tight. I wouldn't go to Hong Kong for all the tea in China. I don't have any reason to go out there. Unless they invited me to compete in World's Strongest Man, which I would win. Not even trying. But let's not talk about HYROX because that's the most boring thing that we could talk about. If you you come from this world where ultimately you just got here in like 6 months ago. This is probably the most exciting and interesting time of your sporting career. I think
totally
the rookie year, at least for me, I think is awesome because you're just getting in and you can go in so many different directions. Like the first thing I thought of is like, what's your ultimate outcome with this thing? Because you just showed up and you've already basically knocked down a lot of titans in this space. Or do you think you're going to be this kind of person that really wants to align yourself with just staying focused on HYROX? We have our event Battle Bunker, which you've discussed. Like there's so many options. Are you the kind of person
I want to do everything?
Okay.
I want to do everything and I want to be the best at all of it.
Really?
That's kind of where I'm at in my life. I just feel like I've come from the distance running background and like I was always really solid, but never super elite. Same with powerlifting, same with lifting, like solid, strong, but never super elite. I think the mesh of the two things is like where I can be elite. I think the more combo stuff you throw at me, the better I am at it. So I just want to, I don't know, try everything, kind of, maybe not obstacle stuff, but
good for you.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about Battle Bunker. I want to keep seeing what I can do in HYROX, but I mean, first sub 60, but like the goals don't stop there. Now we got more men's times to chase down. So
It's gonna
I
be
think
tough.
that
Those
would be.
guys at the top of that ladder, you don't want to get anywhere close to
Oh
them. It's
yeah.
dangerous. Yeah. So that kind of leads me into my next question. We're going to keep on doing figure eights and we're going to come back. But how do you feel about losing? Because what you're putting yourself in the position in is when you want to, if you want to take yourself from ultimate focus and start to spread yourself out, but you still want to be the tip of the spear across multiple events, you have to be one, extremely talented, but also be ready to lose. Because once you get to
Yeah.
the top, like I just raced Anaheim, I pulled out 2-3 stations in, my decision. People will fucking come after you. They'll attack you, even whether or not you turn off your phone. How do you personally handle it? All that kind of stuff. And it's not necessarily a loss in all circumstances, but are you the kind of person that's got the psychological, toughness to be able to handle losing? Because if you're already at the top, I'll be honest, losses, they don't taste quite as good as winning.
Yeah. I think that so I came in, I broke the record in my second race at the time.
Same thing I did.
Yep. And then I go to the European Championships. And then even in the North American Championships, I go in being a favorite to win. And I came in third in Europe, and then I came in second in Chicago.
Amateur numbers.
Tasted real bad.
Yeah, they have your qualifying time instead of that 58 as 103. So
because that was
rough.
Yeah, which is
Rough.
annoying because I hate seeing it on that board. I'm like, ew, it's so annoying. That was my worst time.
That's on the
basically.
grid. You got to accept
on the
that.
grid. I also did an extra lap in Europe. So 103 minus 120 would have been my approximate time. So yeah, I mean, I got a big taste of that because going into that race, it was like social media was just out of control. Like Megan Jacoby versus Michaela Norman, who's gonna win? And like I tagged in so much shit, and I was just like, all right, whatever. Like I just need to ignore this and go over and like do my thing. Didn't turn out the way I'd hoped. Lauren Weeks ended up winning, which is fantastic. She's like the female GOAT of all this stuff. Been doing it for a long time, so not surprised.
She's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And I knew that going in. But for me, it was like it was a real good taste of like humble pie. Like I needed a little humble pie. I honestly felt better about coming in third than I did and coming in second in Chicago. I fucking hate coming in second. I would rather come in third than come in second. Second is the first loser. I do not like to be the first loser. But it just honestly, I think I've got a really good mindset in that it just absolutely fuels me. And after Chicago, like my next race was Anaheim, and I was basically like, I'm fucking going for 60 or sub, and that's it. Like that's the only result that I'll really accept, and I did it. And so that feels really good. And I just hammer myself in training. That's kind of how I handle and deal with maybe not living up to the hype that everyone, thought I would or whatever, if that makes sense. I'm not really, you know what? I'm very fortunate that I went Division I in college, and I just had coaches that were just on us and on our asses, like just super hardcore. Nothing was good. Like nothing was good enough. Like that was really tough at the time because we were like, I'm like 19 years old, just getting told how shitty I am all the time. But at the same time, it's created an incredibly strong mindset for myself now at this point in my life. So grateful for a lot of that.
Yeah. The only advice I could give you, like you're lucky you had that experience. You had some really grounded, intelligent people. I think a lot of people come into this world, we're all independents. We don't have teams, and we show up and we compete, and you might have a good day. You might have a bad day. And then you don't have a lot of people in your corner that you may respect or like really keeping an eye on you. The guy, Rich Diaz, who's commenting there, has been my running coach on and off for 6 years. And he gives me shit all the time. Never lets me have an easy day. And it's important having people like that. But like one thing you have to focus on in this world is at least the outside perspective rather than your inward perspective, is that people only respect you based off of your results of your last race.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately the position of this. And, you could sit there and try to explain to them why something happened or what you did. But that was that first suggestion I said to you when we started chatting. I was like, hey, one thing I'm going to warn you is be very careful with social media. A lot of these people
Yeah.
will like your pictures, and then as soon as you turn around or trip, they'll fucking get on your ass.
Yeah, no, and I very much appreciate that. I'm new, so I think I've gotten a lot of support so far and a lot of, kindness, but I definitely could see how quickly that might maybe change. And like I said, I've had those experiences many times. I've been called washed up many times. I've been called, a nobody, a has been, this, that, and the other. So
Where'd you
um
play D1 college at? Or in what
I went
state?
to UConn and I ran cross country and track there.
TT, baby.
Congratulations on the team's national title in basketball.
I need to let you
Yeah.
guys talk to each other for 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
30
Yeah.
seconds.
So
So
very cool.
UConn.
Very cool experience. I was 2011, my sophomore year, when they won the men's and women's NCAA championship. So
Wow.
it was
So you got to be
pretty
on
lit.
campus for
Yeah.
wow. So I
Yeah.
went to IU, and so we were constantly like chalkboard, couldn't grab a grip on anything on making traction for it. We are the biggest thing that was any sense of what it could be like was when Christian Watford hit the last second shot 3-pointer against
Yep.
Kentucky. And like Kirkwood is like the main strip, the drag strip, when you would, go downtown. And there was people in apartments like putting speakers up against their wall or the windows, and like it was literally a block party. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is probably like a tenth of what it would be if IU
We
could
had
actually make it.
we had classes canceled for like a week. Everyone was just partying all over. Like there were cars like lit on fire at
Wow.
parties. It was madness. It was like out of control, but it was pretty awesome at the same
Something
time.
really important that I needed to handle out there.
So
We're
you
back.
okay?
Yeah. Dude, I wake up in the morning. I have this.
And I piss excellence.
I do. That was
Right,
a
you're
fucking
fine.
gallon's worth of excellence that was just all over my front yard. So this has been my morning routine. Pretty stupid, but exciting. I wake up in the morning and I have 32 ounces of water immediately. I'll have like a cup of just pure water, and then I'll put a scoop of Builder in the other one, and I'll sip on that probably over the next 30 minutes. And like it really energizes you and gets you going. It's fucking awesome. But usually I'll end up in a position like this where I'm like, oh crap, I'm in the middle of this podcast and I gotta piss like a maniac. Um I've been listening because I stalk all of my competitors. I used to be so obsessed with sports that I used to stalk all my competitors in that. And now that I'm kind of switching more focused on business, I'm stalking all my competitors in business. So I started studying the guy who owns First Form, Andy Frisella, and he's got a podcast, and it's crazy. It's incredibly motivating at times, but it's also incredible crazy at times. One of the things that he's been doing is just jumping in like a ice bucket for like 3 minutes to start the day. I did that today. I gave myself like an Arctic enema and I froze to death. I'm so wrapped up in warm clothing right now that I think like my body is finally just starting to get blood back in my fingertips and everything. I'm drinking a crappy cup of Folgers coffee. So I think there's so much stimulus going on in my body right now that it hit me like a train. So thank you for giving me a break so I could pee outside.
Hey,
No
what's the
problem.
deal with this Alexander Ronkovic? He's coming in at 57.26 right now.
He's actually been probably the most balanced athlete out of Europe. He took second, third, third at World Championships. He'll be on the podium probably again this year. He's just a stick of dynamite. He's dangerous but consistent.
Wow.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He's tough. I think he's out of Austria. Let's get kind of into like the nitty gritty here. I think everybody, we're all jocks. We all have biceps, abs, asses, and arms, so much of so on and so forth. Like, what are some of the things that you might have that are more unique to you? So, like, I'll give you an example. Like, do you have like a rabbit's foot on your keychain that's like kind of or like crystals in your room that you use to align yourself with like certain cheese and powers?
You have a fish that you hold in the palm of your hand.
No, but I kind of want to get a fish and like see what it says about
Keep
me.
your damn hands off my magic fish. So are there things like give me let's go through this. Let's like focus on the psychological category first. Are you the kind of person that reads motivational books? Is there someone who's kind of your guru? Is there a mantra that you use? Is there something that's unique to you, or are you just the kind of person that just is steadfast regardless of what you're
Yeah, not really. Like I wish I could like say something that would, I don't know. I'm
so
really
refreshing to have a Northeastern girl to talk to, because most of the girls I know out here are like, yeah, I have a crystal routine and my guru told me this, but this is good.
No.
That's why Northeastern women are the best.
Yeah. No, for me, it's just like having practiced for a long time, like getting in the mindset of, especially as just like being a parent, your time like to get workouts done is pretty limited. So for me, it's like I show up and it's fucking go time. And I just have really trained myself to be able to turn it on and off very quickly. So even when I race, like I am very focused and I just feel like I'm very mentally sound. So I can like be pretty at ease and like normal and have conversation. But the second I step up to the line, it's like, all right, fuck all you bitches. It's time to go. And I don't mean that in like a negative way. It's just like,
how dare you say such
I'm
things?
making t-shirts
How dare
right
you
now.
and I genuinely love everyone.
How dare you be confident and excited about racing?
Yeah, that's like
You're
my
gonna get
thing. And I
canceled for
listen to
caring so
really
much.
hardcore music, and I'm just like kind of a hood rat with my music, and I just put on like intense rap and just I don't know. I just like
some
go
BMX.
Time. Yeah, literally.
All right.
Yeah.
Like that about you. What about supplements, diet, anything? Are you a vegan?
No.
Are you one of these kind of people that only eats rabbit meat? Are you
Do you
kind
only
of girl
eat
that won't
Wagyu beef?
you won't eat any kind of food with the letter A in it? Like, what's going on here? Like yams off, apples no. They can't have it.
No, honestly, I feel like that's probably an area I need to like buckle down just a little bit more. Up until recently, I took 0 supplements at all. Period. None.
Check.
Just like natural lady. No, nothing. No, not even protein powder. Like
natural.
Yeah. But like obviously kind of realizing that stuff does help and I should be better about it. So I just honestly take creatine. I take collagen. I take turmeric just for like the joint stuff. And that's kind of really it. And I do get a meal prep service just to make sure I'm hitting macros. And I don't track it that much.
So you're way more dialed than you put yourself on. You have a meal company send you food so you hit your exact macros. You're like, I'm not really interested in it.
I'm just kind of go with the flow, and my macro company is set to deliver in an hour.
Yeah, yesterday I had ice cream. I had like 17 rice cakes. We're very different people.
No, we're not. Because that's the thing is like I eat really clean during the day. And then at the end of the night, I'm like, all right, let me just eat this entire thing of Halo Top or like Ben and Jerry's.
Dude,
so
Halo
like,
Top is disgusting.
It looks not like
you get used to it. Which flavor?
It's like somebody removed the heart and soul of ice cream from the container, and I'm left chewing on this frozen, just heartbroken story of an ice cream bucket.
It's not that it depends on the flavor for sure, but I had chocolate caramel brownie the other night and it was delicious. So
the 0.001% of body fat that you'll save from avoiding the heavy cream and sugar that's in a pint of Ben and Jerry's, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I don't want to die and be like, I haven't tasted sugar in 70 years because of Halo Top.
The
You
one thing
guys,
I will say that I'm really, really bad about is my coffee.
Mm.
It's like lattes, like full of sugar, flavor. It's
You're
like
drinking the milkshake
it
of
literally it's milk with a shot of espresso in it.
I'm gonna have
Basically.
a cup of honesty with you guys. I'm cruising up from the cabin, from Malibu to the cabin, and I'm so excited. I stop at Starbucks at the base of the hill
Mhm.
before I start coming up, and I walk in there, and I usually get like the nitro cold brew or espresso, just keep it simple and clean. But they had nitro cold brew with like oat milk latte and cinnamon, and I was like, I'll try it. And they're like, it's great. I farted for the next 2 hours at a rate that was impossible to match. I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
"This is insane. I will never trust Starbucks ever again." It
See,
took
that would be like my go-to drink if I was at Starbucks. It would like be exactly that.
the
So
Like
CDC
turbo
needs to
jets
start
to get
keeping an
Megan
eye
attention.
on Starbucks and those fucking fart lattes. I am over that. Don't touch it, people. Oh,
that's
okay.
pretty
So
funny.
we know that you like terrible breakfast drinks and you're
Yeah.
you pretend not to be serious about your diet, but you have a scientist like Dr. Micah Ferrari measure out all your macros and stuff. I don't even think women know what creatine is. You're the first girl that I've ever talked to that's mentioned creatine before, by the way.
Well, that is just very silly, and people need to do a little research.
And women are like, I don't want to get chest hair. I
Oh
can't
my
take
god,
creatine.
I love the muscles. I wanna keep
Uh,
my muscles, and it's hard. I think that's the thing. I think we had this conversation a little bit too, like, the diet is so important for me because or not the diet per se, but just, like, getting enough calories is so important because I tend to thin out pretty quickly with high volume running. And I'm doing probably close to what you're doing. I'm doing 50 to 60 miles a week. I'm doing 13-mile long runs every week. So probably averaging 7 to 10 miles a day. Like I have to make sure I'm hitting 4,000 calories at least. Because I start losing size and you need we need that for what we're doing.
yeah. No,
So
you're smart about it. You're smart about it. Most people I know are like, I'm not going to eat anything,
yeah.
and we're going to figure it out when I get there.
Some guys I know will just go and eat 5,000 calories in a McDonald's drive-through at one point.
That guy sounds like a god. Send that dude my number. Let's link up.
Yeah.
I love McDonald's, by the way. One of these days, they're going to reach out to me and be like, Hunter, like, we're going to pay you back for the 35 years you've been eating McDonald's. Here's $1 billion check. I'm like, recognize real McDonald's. Let's do this. They're like,
Yeah.
you're also now the CEO of the company. Yeah. Okay. So we covered diet. We've covered the crystals. Give me an idea. Like, do you have a coach? Do you do your own
Yes.
thing? Is there something that's like your secret sauce? Are you a periodized athlete? Like, hit me with like this kind of idea.
Richard Diaz says, let's get her in the
Yeah,
lab.
let's do it.
I would take up that offer.
I'm down. So I've been working with Rich Ryan. I got linked up with him through Jarrett Newbie last summer. Started working with him I think we were working together for maybe about 6 weeks before I did my first HYROX
Yeah.
race in New York. So it's been going really good. He programs probably like 40 to 50% of what I'm doing, and then the rest is me. I do a lot of Metcon stuff. I do all my strength programming. And he kind of does most of my just like bigger HYROX style workouts and some machine interval stuff. Which is great. And it's been great. It's been working. It's definitely working for me. I'm very high volume training. That's what I do. And that's just what I've been doing and what I've been used to doing. So
Are you still pretty high volume at this point, or have you started to cut back a
yeah.
little bit?
No, I'm still pretty high volume. I'll probably be pretty high through this week and then start to chill it down a little bit, but keep the intensity really up. And that seems to have worked really well for me in the last couple, big races that I've done. I mean, I trained through Anaheim. Like I did my last hard effort like Wednesday. So
I had to just
I
come off the
recover very
shelf.
well, and I'm lucky that I do.
So, I mean, it depends on where you're at in your in your cycle, but like you gotta like you'll come up on these shelves and you'll get up there, and the way I compare it is it's like imagine you're a mountaineer, like you need to get up on these peaks and train your body to have those levels of intensity. But if you stay up there for too long, you're in what's called like the death zone. Your body
Mhm.
can't stay up at this level of intensity for too long, or it will truly create a dent that takes a while to recover from.
Mhm.
And I was just up on that shelf for a while, and I had to come back down for like 2 weeks. I've had almost 2 weeks of pretty low volume training, and I'm just starting to feel like myself again.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure you figured this out at this point, but I think a lot of people don't. Like most of the time when clients come to me, and like it's not because they like their coaches screwed up. Often it's just mostly because they're doing it themselves. These people have been doing like 12 to 16 weeks of intense workouts in a row, and they're
Right.
just wondering why they just like have not gotten any better. And it always amazes me, like if you're in a sport like this that's pretty much the same every time, courses vary a little bit, but if you're not seeing consistent progress, you're obviously doing something wrong at home. It's not
Yeah.
like, it's obviously not something happening on course. It's something that's happening at home. So you
Yeah.
already been in here. And like when I started this sport, the first time I ever ran it, I ran a 60-minute in 4 seconds. And now I'm down to 54 minutes and 7 seconds. So it's like every single time I've continued to get better, even if it's just by a little bit. You may stay stagnant in like a zone and be like stuck in the 58s for a little bit. You might have gotten
Mhm.
stuck in like the low 60s for a second, and then you break, and now you're down like in the sub 60 zone, and now you're going to try to go for the 57s. But in reality, like, you have to just keep on putting yourself in these pressures and dropping down, putting yourself in pressure. Um, Getting into that point, let's say you do HYROX at world championships, you hit everything you want to have happen. You're a world champion now.
Mhm.
What does the rest of the year look like for you? Are you the kind of person who's going to basically like take a break, or are you going to get right back to war?
Well, I have your event a few weeks later. So in the summertime for me, it'll be back to big strength build. It's kind of the off season for racing. I'm gonna jump into some DECA stuff. Um,
Bingo
that's
night.
hmm,
Nothing.
okay.
Yep.
I'll jump into some of that. It'll be a little bit different. It's a totally different stimulus. So that'll be a little bit different, but really I'm just trying to like revamp my strength stuff. Cause I think as you and I have talked about it, it's like there's an amount that you're able to maintain while you're training at this high of an intensity, but I want to really go back to that for a little while because I think that was part of what helped me have a lot of immediate success was like just having really solid strength numbers, just being really strong in general. So yeah, and then obviously your event has a lot of that kind of stuff in it. I've been throwing some Murph style stuff into my routine already a little bit. I figure push-ups aren't going to hurt me in HYROX, so been
That
hammering some of that stuff out.
that yard
Um,
work workout is it's gonna chew a lot of chicks up. I don't know a lot of girls that can really hit some good chest to deck pull-ups.
yeah.
It's so funny how a girl can like power clean their body weight, and then
Hmm.
all of a sudden I'm like, do a pull-up. They're like, what? Did
So
you?
wait, I didn't think it was pull-ups. I thought it
It's
was
not.
like,
It's not. I'm just saying calisthenics for some reason is just, you know,
so I'm a little upset it's not pull-ups
I'll just be honest.
because
We were going to do Murph. Let's just shoot you guys straight. This stuff's a logistical nightmare. Like
yeah,
we're putting these things on, and truly, like the open workouts online were just meant to be very basic, so that almost everyone could do them and not have any excuses for not getting in there, getting it done at their best level.
right.
The regional level is, obviously we want to find people and fine tune this thing and filter out the wrong people with the right workouts. But also, we're still like really only a year one business to be able to find a pull up rig
Yeah,
with 21, because we have to do it
right.
in a certain amount of time because we're live streaming the whole thing. We were like looking around, we're like, we can't find anybody with 21 pull up rigs that we can really make a good partnership with. So we had to pull that out.
I had a feeling it was, I mean, how many pull-up bars are near a track or anything like that? Like none. when I do the Murph with my friends, we literally do it on lacrosse or soccer goals.
Yeah.
So like that's where we're doing our pull-ups because that's the only choice we have. But it's a
You're
very
clever
big
enough.
strength for me. I do them all the time. I do big pull-up workout or just put them in my workouts at least twice a week because you literally have to or you will suck at them. Like it's just not something you can just fake.
Well, if you're
So-
not doing the CrossFit style pull-ups, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna get eaten alive by somebody like Lauren Weeks that could probably do the pull-ups in half the time, if not a third of the time that you
You
do it.
mean just kipping or
Butterfly?
butterfly?
Yeah, butterfly kipping.
Is there a difference?
So
Is that the same thing? Just, you know,
It's a different technique, but you're still using your body to kind of propel your pull-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've learned how to do them kipping. I don't know how to do them butterfly, but so
I
yeah.
think I did when I set the Murph world record, I did both the pull-ups and the mile in under 7 minutes. And it's just
That's
like
pretty
in
legit.
reality, I think I ran a 5:19 mile, which is pretty good, but it's the pull-ups that was so insane. You know, I went out
Yeah.
there and did like a set of 40 and then a couple sets of 20, and you're just done. And it's just
Yeah.
like that's not 100 pull-ups. That's just you worming, you know.
no rep, no rep, no rep, no rep.
I
Do
like
you-
this Kenneth guy because that's what I do.
Yeah,
You just got to do more.
genius quote.
It-
Do you have anything in your life that is going to be I just got to ask you because I have to remind myself to do the same. Like, where's the joy factor? Like, are you so focused on being a parent and having a job that this over here is your joy factor? Or is there another aspect of your life that you keep in there that keeps you like just having fun, having a good time?
So that's a good question. I think part of the joy factor of doing the sports stuff is that like my daughter gets to see it. And I think that that's just
Rad.
incredibly important, especially just because I'm a single parent. So like it's her and I a lot of the time. And I think it's just really important to show her like how to be strong, how to be tough, goal setting, like just achieving stuff, all of those things. And she's at the gym with me all the time. And she's always been at the gym with me since, she was born. So that stuff is very, very important to me. And I always say, like, if she doesn't come and become an athlete, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm giving her all of the tools. I feel like a lot of the lessons, success, failure. Very funnily, when I came in second in Chicago, she was like, "Why didn't you win?" And I was like, "Savage, thank you, thanks for that." Like that's
Bring
Kids
me
are-
back down.
question. So I think she's gonna just turn out to be like a super intense, high achieving girl, and she's super confident and all of that. So I'm just, hoping all of that rubs off on her. That's important, and that's part of the joy of the sports stuff. But this is genuinely who I am. Like, I think I just didn't get to do a lot of things earlier on because, when your kids are young, it's just different. Now my daughter's older, so I have a little more freedom. She's more independent. So now I get to actually like really be the person that I feel like I've always been at my core. But I have an amazing friend group. Most of them work out with me. They've been on my team for this. I've had friends travel with me to every single race that I've done just to support me. They show up to workouts to support me. Like that's definitely a huge part of my life that is super, super important.
It's
And
good to have people
it
that
helps
are
keep me balanced.
Yeah, it's good to have people that are grounded outside of it. Like all my friends in Malibu, they're older than me and they don't really give a shit about sport. They care about me. That's why they care about sport to like the slightest degree. And if you got a good group of people in there that kind of just give you shit and then also keep your true north really aligned, it's good.
Yeah.
But I'll leave on this note. This is a suggestion for anybody listening and maybe for you because you're new to this. The two people I've named my feet after, Mark Allen and Dave Scott, two greatest triathletes probably in history. They were like the people who originated, kind of like us. They were at the frontier of Ironman. They both won, I believe, 6 or 7 times. And these guys were doing it on bicycles that didn't have clips. They used to tape their feet to the pedals, and they didn't have sports nutrition. They didn't have anything, and they still did times that are like ground, like earth shattering to this day. Now, Dave Scott was like the kind of like us, pump iron, go hard, eat as many calories as you can, destroy the enemy. And he was the person who was really the best in the very beginning. And then there was Mark Allen, who kind of brought in a little bit of this woo-woo-ness where, he would train a little bit more differently. He was a little bit more hippie. He had crystals and stuff like that. After he was done with, there you go, the Iron War. After he was done with this season, he would take about 90 days off of pretty much any training, eat a bunch of mushrooms, do a lot of weird stuff. Now, when you're able to blend the two of those, now you have to have this kind of like surviving ego where you have to really fully believe in yourself. But if you find a way to blend the two of those things and be that monster that's super serious and crushing the world, and then also be that woo-woo kind of person that's able to recognize that none of this thing is that serious and it's all a game.
Yeah.
You'll be able to elevate yourself to a much higher level, at least from what I've been able to recognize. And that would be my advice to you as you're getting into this and you're already top of the game. So you don't need very much advice, but I think guidance every once in a while can always be helpful. And I'll leave you guys with a lot of people ask questions. So I'm going to rapid fire thing and I'm going to leave you guys with a quote afterwards.
Before we get into that, I wanted you to go through that whole inspirational quote, but did you say you named your feet?
Mark Allen and Dave Scott.
Okay.
Well, because you got to recognize, man, I would be out there doing these sessions and it's like one foot in front of the other. And these two fuckers are battling next to each other all the time. And, obviously I didn't have a training partner, so I just nicknamed my feet. And I would just allow them to go to war with each other. It wasn't a war against anybody else. It was just my two fucking sneakers duking it out. We're doing these intervals. I'm like, who's going to cross the line first, bitches? And, you take the pressure out of yourself and put it into these 2 feet. And I'm like, they're just battling. And if you watch the documentary, which is, not that long, these dudes sat in silence next to each other the entire time on the bike. So 5 hours on the bike. And then I think they ran like a 240 marathon in silence next to each other. Just like, and you watch this video and you're just so amazed that these guys could be holding 6 flat miles, especially back then. They didn't have super shoes. They didn't fucking have sunscreen. Their sunglasses were probably just made out of just like melted petroleum. Like it just wasn't like really high quality stuff. Nothing was. They didn't have spandex and stuff, so you wouldn't get chafage. It was like cotton panties that you'd race in. Like everything about it was insane. You did get a lot of attention, so I want to rapid fire some questions of what the fans asked because I think it's important that we attend the questions. What the fudge am I doing here? There you go. Here we go.
I got one question right off the bat. When are you flying over to get settled there in Manchester?
I'm flying over Sunday night, so I'll land early Monday.
Gotcha.
Have a full week. Be there for the whole week.
All right, these got to be rapid fire, otherwise we can get in a freaking tunnel on this one. So preventing injury while training hard and pushing yourself. What's your best advice? From Christy Dutton.
Listen to your body.
Listen to your body. I like that.
Boom.
Ooh, D_Han 44. Why is she so beautiful? Oh, holy shit.
Dang.
Shots fired. Okay, Vern Silato. Do you include full HYROX sims in your training?
I've only done one full sim ever. I do a lot of variations of sims, once to 2 times a week, focusing on different aspects of the race usually.
Okay. Patricia Palika.
That's definitely the name.
So basically, shut your fucking mouth, Wad Zombie.
Thanks.
Someone asked you about your spine and back injury. Did you have surgery?
Yeah, I had surgery when I was 25. I had a very bad herniated disc. And guess what? Answers in the gym.
Would you hurt your back lifting or something?
Hurt it in the gym?
No, I heard it when I was pregnant with my daughter. I had a herniated disc and then ran and trained on it for like 2 years, wrecked it even more, had spinal surgery, came back 7 months later and started running arguably like my fastest times ever. So it was probably like a much needed break. But then I realized that I needed to really emphasize strength training. And it was a really slow process. Like there were times when squatting 135 wrecked me. Like I'd be immobile for days.
I feel that
and I
way
just
still.
worked at it for a long time.
A lot of people want to know if we're going to pair up for a doubles world record.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Say less.
Okay. What helps you recover from your hard workouts the quickest? From Yamofit.
Cross training. I hop in. I don't really ice bath that much, but I love doing like Epsom salt baths. I don't know. That's like an old running trick that
you're supposed to do that with cold water, right?
Yeah.
That's why it turns me off. I'm like, okay, I'm
I don't
cold.
love the cold water thing. I'm not about it.
It was rough this morning.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can only imagine.
Regan wants to know what kind of training were you doing before you got into HYROX? He kind of explained that, but it sounds like powerlifting.
Powerlifting, running.
Fuck yeah.
D1 UConn athlete.
No big deal.
Malarco K, how did you improve the times to your stations? Any key workouts like transitioning?
I do a lot of machine work intervals. I think people neglect doing that stuff a lot. I think there's a lot of time to be made up on those stations. And I also think there's a lot of strength to be gained in those stations. So yeah, I think people like do sleds so much. And if you're doing strength training, like I don't think you have to do them.
You're saying like max your heart rate out with like a ski erg in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and like I periodize that stuff where I'm doing long intervals, like when I'm really building up, and then closer to the race, I'm doing power intervals at that point, dropping the time and just like hammering them out, minute and a half. But when I'm doing like a higher endurance build, like I'm doing 4, 5, 6 minute hard efforts. I mean, even some longer than that. And that seems to have worked really well for me. So
updated FDOE.
What's that mean?
No fucking clue.
DOE.
Kenny the lap. Oof, this is kind of we're skipping that one.
Wait, no, now I'm curious.
Effects on menstruation and the competitive performance.
Oof, I have no tips. I'm really lucky. I'm on birth control that I don't get a period. It doesn't affect me very much. I'm sorry. That's a bad answer for the ladies.
Same.
The thing I can see is Florida Department of Education, which I don't think that FDOE stands for that.
Yeah. Baklava. I just can't pronounce their thing. Easiest way to transition between DECA and HYROX. Have you ever done a DECA?
Yeah. Honestly, I think have your HYROX engine. It's so much easier to drop down than it is to go up.
Hell yeah.
I think a lot of men learned that in the fall, really focusing on DECA work and not HYROX work. And then they tried to hop in some HYROXs and it didn't go great for them.
Smash.
I would say have your HYROX engine and then just like drop it down to faster stuff. But if you have that big engine, you'll be good.
Okay, Toxamin. What do you think about the qualifying for the Elite 15? Is there other methods they should be using to qualify? Is it fair?
Yes.
Fucking cold.
This is a tricky one because I'm not affected. So like it hasn't affected me, thankfully, because my times have been good. And also I was able to solidify a spot by podiuming at those 2 championships. So, but yeah, I think it's been real tough for the men. Like I'm feeling for some of these guys out here that have done really great times and then get bumped out because we know courses aren't really the same.
Here's my thing. Fucking run faster and stop bitching. Your coach is a bitch. He's been bitching about it for such a long time. Listen, I'll admit, dude, he's made fun of some of my friends. He's bitched about the system. Like in reality, if you've been in sport long enough, this is an attack because just specifically because of him, but I listened to him talk about it. And the one thing that I told everybody when you get into sports is if you don't like the rules, outwork the rules. That's it. That's your only chance. And you're going to be on the shit end of the stick if you're on the slow end of the stick. You got to work harder. And like
there's
you got to
been
accept
a lot of thought on like, oh, do a regional qualifier and top however many get in and that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not a race director.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure I get the auto qualifiers, my goal.
Yeah.
And then I'm locked in. So
sports kind of out of your control. Unless you're the
control the
person putting it on.
controllables. I'm a big believer in that. I live by that. Control the controllables. When you put too much emphasis on the things you can't control, you're just wasting your time and energy. So
sorry, I got a little heated.
No, it's okay. But hey, careful. Be nice. Be nice to my people.
Never.
Never.
I'll leave you guys with this. Something I think everyone should think about. Been thinking about it heavily. Part of the reason why I'm going to do this Appalachian Trail thing. This one's by Jack Kerouac, philosopher. Because in the end, you won't remember the time you spent working in the office or mowing your lawn. Climb that goddamn mountain. So anybody who's doing something right now where you basically feel that you wish you were doing something else, maybe put aside all the things you think you should be doing and go do what you want to do. Yeah.
I like that.
I think it's an important time that all of us got to really take advantage of it. And I think all of us get so deep in this existence that we forget about the pleasure of life. I often have to remind myself, I started talking about this not too long ago. I said, what would 13-year-old Hunter be doing right now? And I would be in the woods.
I just listened to that podcast yesterday.
Yeah. It's one of those kind of things where I think we get so caught up in work results, race results, relationship results, bank account results. Man, I didn't care about any of those things when I was 13. Yeah. And I had so much fun. I owned a skateboard. That was it. God.
Dude, I rode my bike so much. I was playing basketball at a park every single day after school.
Did you guys ever set up like dirt ramps to go ramp off?
No, because I wasn't trying to break my neck, but we did we did bike on bike trails all the time. So that was always fun.
I didn't say they were big, dirt.
Yeah, but I never did that stuff. Girls think about consequences. Women think about consequences.
I know, but
boys don't. Boys are like, I'm going to do it, and then they learn.
If it wasn't for guys putting the consequences aside, you girls wouldn't have anything to watch.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, you girls are on watching. You're like, damn, that boy's about to jump that dirt ramp. Yeah. I
don't know that those boards are going to hold with 2 different nails in there, but let's see how it goes.
Dude, I was a master engineer at that age. I used to climb up trees and build tree forts, skateboard ramps, everything. I forgot, as soon as girls started to exist in my life, I forgot about everything. I used to play 4 instruments.
Yeah.
I was a genius. I was literally a genius.
That's the way it happens.
Yeah, screw that nonsense. It was incredible getting to know you better. You have a very impressive mindset. I think the one thing I want to walk away with this is you seem to have a very simple mindset. There's not a lot of like woo-woo bells and whistles to you. You just get the work done. And that should be the cheapest book out there. 1 sentence, get the job done. Stop thinking about everything else. So very impressed by you. I'm very excited to see the rest of your season come into its full blossom. You're going to do some really incredible things. I hope you have the best of training this week. Stay in touch. Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Always a pleasure spending my Mondays with you, sweetheart.
Yes, sir.
Everybody, if you've been listening to the show this long, I just want to say I'm very grateful that you guys participated in this. We've watched this thing grow so much, and it's been really incredible. Our Mondays are so important to us. I think it's awesome to come together, connect, and meet and talk to inspiring people to get the week started. Morning Wood Radio is about what gets you up in the morning. So I want you guys to think about that every single time you wake up in the morning. I want you to have some mojo in your pants and get going. Take on the world. Do something fucking epic. I hope this podcast has really inspired you guys to really crush the week. We will be back again on Monday with some interesting people and some interesting stories. If you're looking to get involved in anything we're doing, check out House Training, Builder Sports. And as you all know, May 26th is when the fucking fire-breathing dragons come out.
It's about to go down.
I liked what you said on your pod the last time.
What's that?
You want some American blondes in first place on that podium. I like that.
Yes,
Blondes do it better, baby.
Yeah.
That spot's ours. We just got to step up on top now.
Yep.
All right, guys. Have a great morning. Thanks so much for coming on. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you. Bye.